tear this up?
No, you just speak. You speak. Listen, it is such an honor, first off, to be here. I'm going to speak. Mike's looking for a speech right now.
I'll be able to go home.
First off, I was going to wear rubber boots after Michelle Cobb's speech. A lot of emotion right there, a lot of tears. We flooded out table 16, but it's all good. No, just seriously, it's such an honor to have all the guys out here that have been inducted. And I want to thank, the guy, where's the MC guy here? Matty. I want to thank Matty because you know what? Me and Westy were talking, and a lot of guys were talking, and we were in the other room about all the guys that unfortunately couldn't make it today, like Rhoda Huskers, Tyrone Jones, Jeff Croonin, Matt Pierce, Warren Hudson. There you go, Warren Hudson. So a lot of guys that should have been here aren't here, but they're in our hearts forever. I just tell you, it's such an honor to be here. I'm a Winnipeg guy, so you could probably see me in no frills all the time. I'm the guy pushing the cart with no vegetables. What the frick is this price of meat? It's just not. Sorry, I said myself. The last time I spoke was Bob Molly's induction, and they cut me off and they kicked me out of the club. So, anyway, I just want to say thank you guys for having us here. It's a great honor to be with my teammates and stuff. And how about this young puppy who just won a championship in the new league, Mike Riley? Let him go.
Okay, you got a little bit of a picture of what that 1990 era was about right there for us out there. So anyway, I am really honored to be here. It is just great to be back with these guys, and listening to all the stories tonight, it just makes you feel great about. I know. For you at home, for the sports figures in Manitoba, the inductees tonight, those stories, and our team getting to be a part of that, and we can come back memory lane and be honored here. I really want to thank the Manitoba Sports Hall of Fame for including us, and this truly was a great team. This was a great team. Honor to be a part of, honor to coach, fun to coach, lots of stories. Rick told me 3 to 5 minutes, and I was wondering if he meant 3 to 5 minutes for each guy. That's how long it would. I've got lots of stories, and I've coached for lots of years, so that is. But it's an honor to represent them. It's an honor for me to be back in Winnipeg. I'm going to digress personally for just a second. I was able to bring my son back here. Matt Riley is sitting right over here, and I'm so proud to have him. Matt was born in Winnipeg, as my daughter Kate was, and he has been back once before, but has come back. We've already made a little trip down memory lane. And the other thing that I have to mention being here is that one of the proudest things that I have in my career, my personal little story, is that I got to coach the same team that my dad did a decade later. Really proud of that. I just love that story, and he was a part of some great teams. He'd be so proud of this team and of us being here tonight. So we're thankful for that. I want to say something about the current team. I have fun watching them from afar, and wish them the best going forward. What a great year that they have had. I mean, we've been able to cheer on their previous Grey Cups, but to see what they've done right now, we're all just excited about that. And it's fun to be here, and the job Mike O'Shea's doing and the whole organization is awesome. This is a story. Every team has a story. The creation of a championship is a unique. It always has some unique parts to it. And this team was built, I think, starting in '83, when Cal Murphy came here. When Paul Robson, who's here tonight, Paul Robson hired Cal Murphy, and Cal Murphy had a vision. And this thing started in '83, and we won a couple Grey Cups. We won in '84, we won in '88, and this team won in '90. But this was a product of a lot of things being put together. Cal had a vision, he had a plan, And it's so neat to be here, to see Joyce here tonight, and to have Brian, the Murphy son, with her, because it just, Cal meant so much to all of us, to the Bombers, and the vision that he had and the pieces he put together. So to be a part of that, he impacted everybody. And he impacted me in football. He impacted me in my life. He was a mentor, a leader, a friend. It was incredible, the work that he did. But he had this vision and a plan that he put together that started in '83 when he came from Edmonton and had been a part of championship teams over there. And like I said, this 90s team was kind of a culmination of that early vision with success along the way. We still had good teams. And this thing was built with a purpose and with a foundation. Every team forms an identity as they go. This team, as you might guess, had a little bit of fun. They had fun. But they brought a joy to football. They brought a joy to the sport. Michelle, you could tell everybody talking tonight, Michelle's joy for what she did and the teammates she had, it just came right out at you. And this team was like that. And frankly, you did not know every day what you might get in the locker room as we came to work. You might not know, but you knew what you were going to get on game day. You knew what was coming on game day, and that was fun. This team was built. This team was built for Winnipeg. Some of you might know, might remember, might notice today that it's windy here. That's a factor. And you know, as you put together a football team, and I figured it out that last year, we played 9 home games. 7 of them were in games where the wind affected the game. 7 out of 9. So if you looked into the future and were putting a team together and you were going to play in the wind once in a while, you might think that you'd like to have a good running game, that would be important. In order to do that, you have to have a good runner. Robert Mims gained 1,400 yards, led the league, and caught 73 passes. That is a remarkable statistic. Unbelievable. And in order to do that for Robert, we had to have a great offensive line. You don't win championships without great people up front, and we had that. And we had, Chris, Bob Molly, and Dave and Scott are here. Who am I missing? I'm not going to leave. Yeah. There was a whole crew of them, but that offensive line was absolutely a fundamental part of a championship. When you're going to run the ball effectively, you need a runner and you need an offensive line. The other thing is you've always got to play. If you're going to win a championship and you're going to put that identity together, you have to play great defense. And you saw the film clips. And it sent chills down my spine watching those guys play. We had a great front. Stan is here, who was in the middle of the pack as the nose tackle. We played a 3-4. Some of you might remember, but most don't. But we were the only team. This is, again, part of Cal's vision when he came in '83. He wanted to play the 3-4 defense. Everybody else played a 4-man front, 3 linebackers. We went with a 3-man front and 4 linebackers. The only team in the league playing that defense. So for every team, it was a special preparation to play the Bombers. But not only was the scheme important, we had great players there. We had a great front. We had a great secondary. Kenny Petway and Rod are here tonight. Just fantastic players. But the guys the guys that everybody noticed played the linebacker. And I don't know why. I don't know if you remember this, if you were at the games, that the linebackers would go out early, and they would go out and they'd go right around the field, right through the other team's stretch, right through. I think saying hi to everybody that they knew, let them know that the Bombers were coming today. But it was a fabulous group, and this defense was special. It was a championship defense. Rod Hill was a phenomenal player. Phenomenal. He had 5 interceptions in a game. I think that's still a record. Fact check me later. Don't worry about it. But that's a real deal. and I think he had 10 on the year, and I think he blocked a total of 10 kicks and punts. Unbelievable. Never have I seen a guy get that low around the edge to block a field goal. And he was a weapon. And one story I told, should I tell the story today about Jake Ireland? Okay. I got a lot of these. Get another drink. Get a chair. Get a chair if you need it. Are you all right? You all right down there, Bob? You good? Okay. So we're playing Toronto, and Rod, everybody knows what Rod can do. And so they're punting, and Rod's going to come off the edge and try to block the punt. Well, that's what happened. He came around the edge, and they punted the ball, and their wingback, you remember this, Rod? Their wingback just tackled him, wouldn't let him go. So what happens on the play is there's a penalty on Toronto, not that penalty. They didn't call holding, but they had to punt again. So I immediately, just as they begin to set up for the punt, I'm yelling at Jake Ireland, the referee, Jake, they're holding Rod. They're going to hold him right here. They killed him on the last play. Watch this, Jake. They're going to hold him. They snap the ball, punt, Rod blocks the kick. Jake Ireland, the referee, some of you guys might remember, he jogs past me on the way down the field, and he says, they didn't hold him that time, did he? Lots of good stuff. Let me see exactly where I am here. The other thing you have, when you want a championship team, you have to have championship specialists, and we did. Bob Crammon is one of the great stories in professional sports. For as long as he punted at such a high level, you talk about perseverance. I think Bob will tell the story. He got cut 6 times before he made a team, but he came to Winnipeg. And again, he knew where he was coming. He was going to become the best win punter in football, and he was. He won the 88 Grey Cup for us with the field position that we got off of the punting. So you have to have specialists that are championships. You have to have a kicker that is clutch, that is a great professional. We had Trevor Kennard. And so we won games because of those 2 guys. You have to have championship. You have to have, you see the picture, it's in your book, you have to have leadership. And when 2 of your, quote, star players are leaders like that and will step out in front and do what they need to do as leaders, when you have got James West and Lyle Bauer as leaders on your team, you're in pretty good shape. You're in pretty good shape. So thankful for those guys. If you want to win a championship, you got to have the right quarterback. Can't play football without the right quarterback. The quarterbacks for us, Danny McManus, who we signed, and Tom Burgess, who we acquired, were the right fit at the right time. I think they said it on the video. It was the perfect fit. I think our offensive line, Chris, you'll correct me if I'm wrong, I know, but our offensive line had a great amount of respect for Tom Burgess because he was a tough guy. He didn't care what happened. He was on to the next play, and he kept playing. Danny McManus would go in, and he was the mad bomber. He would go down the field with the ball. You could just expect it. But they were the right quarterbacks for us, and it was unbelievably neat to see Tom grow with a new team throughout the year and play his best game in the Grey Cup game. That was awesome to see. Okay, and I can't do this without thanking and remembering our coaching staff. A great group of guys I enjoyed going to work with every day. And coaches, you know, people talk a lot about personality in coaching. Players want substance. They want coaching. They want football. And I think there's always a blend, but I had such great guys. Gene Gaines, one of the finest people, greatest coaches around. Gene coached our secondary. Bob Padilla coordinated and coached the linebackers. Dave Ritchie, who's in the Hall of Fame, coached the defensive line. Jim Gilstrap, who was with me like forever, coached our offensive line. Ron Simonson coached the perimeter. And they just did a great job. But, you know, we go through a lot as a coaching staff and as a team, and you know the whole thing is made up also of just great people. There's lots of guys up here, Kevin O'Donovan, Jim Grieve, that were they're part of the family, And when you put a championship together, you put the building together. Everybody in there. We had some of the greatest people. Everybody's seen that vision of what it takes to be around a championship group. We had that going on in that building. I mentioned Vicki a little bit ago. There was a lady, Barb Ledgard, that worked with me that I'll never forget, one of the nicest, sweetest, greatest people around. And then, all of our staff, Ross Hodgkinson, our trainer, everybody's included in the growth, the creation of a championship. Everybody's part of it. Just a few things here about this team, and then I'll give it up. This team was in first place from the first day to the last day, and was picked, I think, last in the preseason poll. My personal formula, I don't even know if I ever said this to the team, but I thought you had a chance to really position yourself, obviously for the playoffs, but for a championship, if you could win your home games, which we had an unbelievable home record. If you could win your home games and never lose 2 games in a row. That was these guys. They were not going to do that. You weren't going to win a championship. You don't play 18 games without something happening. And the point of that is don't blink. Don't panic. You're playing 18 games. Who are you going to be the next week? You got to learn from the game, go on, all the coach speak. But that's absolutely a fact. You've got to be able to go on and play. Well, we went to Saskatchewan. Does anybody remember this? I know some of you do. We went to Saskatchewan for Labor Day. And we had the best team in the league now. And Saskatchewan beat us like the Grey Cup score, 50-10, 50-11, whatever it was. All I remember is Milson Jones, one of our local guys, running up and down the field over there for Saskatchewan. That's what I remember about the game. The other thing I remember is I'm listening on the headset at the end of the game, fourth quarter. Bob Padilla is our defensive coordinator. Gene Gaines, our secondary coach, is up in the box. And so I can hear these guys talking. And Bob says to Gene, Gene, get your ass down here and get embarrassed with the rest of us. That means I've got to go. Hey, I'll wrap it up. Give me 1 second. I've got to tell you about the Eastern Final. The Eastern Final. Why would we get the 1990 team and not talk about the Eastern Final? The Eastern Final. We beat Toronto 5 times that year. Preseason 3. We played them. We were in the Eastern Division. The hardest game was that game, the Eastern Final, and they played. It's going to be overtime. They play 2-man coverage. Safeties are deep. We run everybody out. Tom Burgess runs down the middle of the field. Our Winnipeg fans, the greatest in the world, see it maybe before Tom does. He takes off down the middle. Huh? That's Tommy. That's an example. It just opened up. Down the middle. Kneels. He slides in. Trevor goes in, kicks the field goal. We're on to the Grey Cup. When we go to the Grey Cup, James announces, as we get off the plane, we are just here to play the best available talent. And that happened to be Edmonton. And they had the 6-pack Tracy Ham, and we had a terrific game. That's what I'll say. I'll let you go. Thank you for your patience. Go Bombers.
I'm going to keep it sweet because they got this clock says 0. I just want to say, echo everyone, thank you, Blue Bomber fans, Blue Bomber Nation. You're the best people in the world.
You know I'm not going home. I got to tell you one Cal Murphy story. Because son of a bitch, if I don't tell it, I'm never going to sleep tonight. Joyce Murphy, this is for you. We used to go training camp in Brandon. Who always went to Brandon? The bus went, but no, me, Blackie, Miles Gorell, and Stan Mikowas, we rent a van, and we loaded it with beer. We had beer up the kazoo. Blackie thinks because he's got a radar detector, we're never going to get pulled over. As we come over to last hill, we're doing great. Last hill going into Brandon, all the lights on his radar detector go. He goes, oh shit. He says to me, Walby, hide it. Put it in your pants. I go, there's no freaking way I'm putting that radar detector in my pants. So I put it in the glove department. Yeah, first place I looked. Anyway, this big old RCMP lady comes up and she goes, what are you doing in here? We're just going to training camp. She sticks her head in the door and she goes, what's with all the beer empties? Well, we collect empties. What's in the cooler? The next empties. So she says to us, no word of a lie, this is honest God truth, strike me dead. Get out of the van and pour them out on the side of the road. So here we are. We got about 40 beer we're pouring on the side of the road. And wouldn't you know it, here goes the team bus. We were standing like this, and I don't know what Cal said, but I'm sure it had a few F's in it. And he just went. And we weren't making much money back then, but we got $200 fine each. It was crazy, man. But I love Cal. I used to love to run the ball. Mimsy knows I love to run the ball. Every day I played with, I always say, run the damn ball. And then every once in a while, Cal would say, shut up and just block here, man. I mean, it was a great thing. Cal, Joyce, it's nice to see you here today. I think we have to recognize Cal Murphy. We talk about Mike Riley. Cal Murphy was one of the toughest sons of S. Seriously, he was. I just wanted to leave you that one story. I apologize for taking more time than necessary, but that's what I am. I'm a storyteller. So God bless you all for coming out, and congratulations to all the inductees.